Hey guys, Dakota from Cardtropolis TCG. Today we're going to be doing a Sword Art Online Weiss Schwarz deck profile. I know I haven't done this deck profiles for this game in a long time, and I have so many decks I want to do deck profiles for, and just haven't had time. I coached tennis for a local high school, and just oh man, that during COVID was interesting, and I've just been super busy and haven't had much time for anything. But I'm finally going to do this deck profile. This is one of my favorite decks in this game. Definitely one of my favorite animes. Um, but yeah, I'm glad I'm finally able to get this out, and I guess we'll get started. Yeah, this is a deck that was popularized in Japan. I think it's called Gara Sao. Some guy over there kind of made this play style. It's very techy, super versatile. Doesn't really have a finisher really. Has a lot of healers, and you just kind of try to outplay the opponent essentially. But yeah, it's a really fun deck to play. There's a lot going on. It's very easy to plus and have good hand. It does use a lot of stock, but you can always use stock to get cards. So, but yeah, I guess we'll get into it. And also, it took me forever to get this deck. I had a ton of old SAO SPs, and then I quit and sold everything, and then I had to try to find it again. So it took me quite a while to find this. So you probably saw me buying stuff on Facebook and everywhere, trying to get all these cards. Oh my gosh, it was a pain. But yeah, we'll get started. So we'll start with level zeros. We got 4 clean cut Kirito. On play, it gets 1500 power to end the turn. And then on reverse of an opponent's character, you can choose one of your characters, rest it, and move it to your back row. So it allows you to tri-field a level 0. You go direct attack, and then you'll crash something else, and then you'll run over something with him, and then move a card back. So it allows your early game to be pretty good. We have our back row level zeros, so sometimes you'll want to attack with these to get a stock, and then you use this to move it back. So that's pretty cool. Also, it denies your opponent reverses at level 1. So that's pretty cool. It gets 1500 on play, so sometimes at level 1, if your opponent just plays a level 0 or something, you can randomly get a free plus off this. But yeah, probably one of my favorite type of cards. I really like this play style. Really good going second, terrible going first. But yeah, it was a really cool card. I like these types of effects. Next up, we got this Lifa level 0. When you use a climax, you can pay a stock, look at up to the top 4 cards of your deck, and add a character to your hand. And then when you use an act ability on either player's turn, you can choose a character and give it 1000 power, but that's only once a turn. So it works really good with the Silica, which we'll get to in a second. But on your turn, you can use it to pump up your characters to get reverses. So your characters get pretty big on your turn. And on your opponent's turn, when you use a backup, it allows you to make your backups even bigger. So we got level 2 backups and level 1 backups. But yeah, really good card. And the milling, first deck, you can try to mill a lot to try to refresh with a higher ratio of climaxes to non-climaxes. And then later, when you've already refreshed, you can only look at top cards until you find what you need or something. So you stay a little bit compressed. But yeah, very defensive card. I do like that kind of style of play. It reminds me of the Kantai deck that I did a deck profile on, where you just kind of has the same kind of effect where you just kind of wall up on defense. Next up, we got the Silica back row. She's an assist 500 for the 2 characters in front of her, and you can pay 1 stock, rest her, choose one of your characters, and on reverse, you get to salvage a character. So this act effect triggers the Lifa, so you can give if something's in front of this, it gets 5, and then you can give something 1,000. So plus 15, plus maybe a climax. Like, you can definitely get reverses, and you just use this on whichever lane you're gonna get a reverse on, because it's hard for your opponent to like wall all 3 lanes. So you can always usually get one. Against standby decks, this gets a little bit worse if they get a lot of things out. Against like Attack on Titan like Eren or Konosuba Megumin, where they like run away. Of course, you don't use this on those ones, but you just wait and just use it at the right time, and you'll be fine. But yeah, this is really good back row. I do dislike how they only have 500 power, but it's whatever. So if you like start with one of these, it kind of sucks. Like, it's guaranteed you're gonna die. So that's it for like our back row level zeros. Next up, we got this Drop Searcher Asuna from like the Alicization 1 set. So 2,000 power, pay 1 stock, discard a card from your hand. On play, you may pay the cost. If you search your deck for an avatar or net, show it to your opponent, put in your hand. So it's a regular Drop Searcher, and then on attack, look at the top card of your deck, and then you can put it on the top of your deck or in your waiting room. So it allows you to like, if you're trying to attack for certain types of damage, you can like look for soul triggers to deal extra damage. If you don't want to trigger something, then like you can mill it so you don't like get stuff stuck in stock if it's like your first attack. Or if it's like your last attack, you can try to hit one of these to like get a plus or something. But I like this Drop Searcher. Also, it fixes for yellow. Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow. The biggest thing was I needed some yellow because this early play killer was really hard to play without like yellow fix. And we already have like some green fix for like level 1 and red fix for level 1. So I needed a little bit more yellow, which is why I'm playing more of this than this like green Drop Search. This is also a Drop Search, the same effect, pay a stock, discard a card, search a card. But this has the other effect of all your other characters can't side attack, which can be relevant sometimes. Usually it's not. Sometimes people forget about it if it's like you're just crashing or something, but sometimes you need to side for exact damage, or if you're like out a lot of climaxes, you need to side just so you don't take too much damage on the swing back. This is nice because it's 3,000 power, so this is like a pretty good like going first card because you just like play it and just kind of hide behind it. But I think it's fine at like 1. But yeah, I like this one. Also, this one's foil, so yeah. And then our last level 0 is this like Asuna. I think everyone calls her like Lewd Asuna, whatever. I don't like this card, but I play 1 because it's kind of useful occasionally. So on attack, wait, no, I'm done. On place, you may return 2 characters from your waiting room into your deck, and then if you do, it gets 1 soul until end of turn. So this is mostly there to put cards back in your deck so you can grab them off Yuki if you like need something very specific. Also, late in the game, you can like give yourself a soul. So if you're swinging for certain like exact things of damage, that's kind of cool. Like if you need to catch up in damage, that's nice. And then on reverse, reveal a top card of your deck. If it's level 1 or higher, you may put this card in your stock. So sometimes you'll just get a random free stock off this. And most of our deck is 1 or higher. It's kind of like heavy on the upper level because we only have 9, 13, we only have 15. Did I count that right? 10. Yeah, we only have 15 level 0, so kind of a low level 0 count. Yeah, so I think the level 0 count's fine. Going second, we definitely want to like open the clean cut. If we go first, usually we just toss something out there, just 1 card. We don't want to like commit our hand and just lose our entire hand. But a very like normal play is to go first, attack, get a stock. On your post turn, they'll kill your character, maybe play a second character, get an attack, whatever. Then on your next turn, you're going to play a Drop Searcher. You're going to ditch something you can't use, grab a clean cut, and then call out like one of your back rows. You'll go direct for 2, and then you'll like run over something, move it to the back, and then swing with the Drop Searcher, whichever one you used. That way you get 3 attacks. You get your one of these back into the back. But yeah, that's like a pretty common thing at level 0. So you don't because we're playing so many drop searchers, you don't need a ton of level zeros. You only need to really draw like one of these and like one of these or something. Or this will, like, you just need a drop searcher and like something, and then the drop searcher can grab whatever the thing is you don't have. So pretty good level 0 game. Next up, we got level 1s. So we got 2 different colors of level 1, which can be awkward if you level, like if you level like 1-0. Like if you clock and go to 1-0, it's awkward because then you have to pick. But we got Zek and Yuki, so cost is level 1, 4,000. On play from hand, it gets plus 500 power, equal to the number of other characters you have. No, it's not other, it's just characters. So if it's the last card you played, it gets plus 2/5. If it's like the second to last character you play, it gets plus 2. And then on attack, if you have the bar, you can pay 1 stock, discard a card, search your deck for 2 characters. And then it gets plus 1 level. So it gets around like level 1 bombs, which isn't super relevant right now, I don't think. But I mean, sometimes it comes up. But it gets good amount of power on your turn. It deck thins, so you're more likely to cancel after you attack with this. It can pay out dirty stock, so sometimes you'll attack with this like after you attack with another character, trigger a climax. You attack with this, pay out the climax. It allows you to ditch dead cards early, and then search for like cards key cards you need, like early play killers, whatever like that may be. Can search for backups. I search for a lot of backups, Elizabeth, and like early play Elizabeth. But very good level 1 combo. It's really old, but it's still like really good this far, like down the line. Usually, like when you do this, you want to do 1 first to try to still build up stock. Because when you use this combo, you don't really gain stock that turn, but you gain like hand selection and a plus. So usually you want to use 1 Yuki first, maybe search out a second Yuki and like a backup or whatever you need, and then on your next turn, if you can go 2 turns in a row, then you double Yuki the second time. That's usually how I try to do it, but usually I won't double Yuki right at level 1 because I'm trying to like build up a little bit of stock. Because you're also gonna like in the same turn, you're probably gonna like Lifa and like this. That's like 3. That's like 3 stock. So you're only like gaining like 2. It's not. Yeah. So usually I only do 1, at least first. Next up, we got the coin flip Elizabeth, 4/5 on attack. If you have 2 or more other characters, it gets 2,000 power. So 6/5 on attack with a climax 7/5. With this, it's like 8, and maybe with this, it's 9. So it gets like decently big. And then on reverse, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's level 2 or higher, you rest it. So it's just randomly, you can get a free plus. So it hits on all of these. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16. So 16 out of 50 cards. I guess that's not like the best ratio. It's about a third. So you have like a 30% chance of it going off. But it's just free. It's just like free. So that's cool. Yeah. And then lastly, we got a level 1 free splittable 2K backup. So you like use the backup, give 1,000 to whichever thing is being attacked, and then you can give 1,000 to something else. And then with this, you can give 1,000 to something else. So you can have like a 3-way splittable, 1K, 1K, 1K. You can stack it all in the same thing and get huge, or you can just like put it everywhere and just kind of like somehow get lucky and just not, defend all 3 of your characters at the same time. Usually your opponent won't let you do that, but sometimes you can win 2 lanes with this, which is gross. Like you're basically discarding 1 card to save 2 of your cards. So it's like a plus by doing that. Usually you search it off Yuki. Sometimes you'll salvage it off of Silica. It's good at protecting your early plays. Just all around good card. Like no one has splittable backups anymore, so that's pretty lit. All right. Gosh, I had the door open today, so it's like flies all over the place. Jesus. Okay. Next up for level 2s, we got an Asuna early play killer. Level 2, 1 stock. On play from stage from hand, draw a card, choose a card from hand, discard it. So again, you can like discard things you don't need, try to dig for whatever. That effect's not like fantastic, but it's whatever. And then on reverse, if your opponent's if your battle opponent is level higher than their like the player level, you can take the top card. You put that character into your opponent's stock, and you take the card from the bottom of your opponent's stock and put it in the waiting room. So this means they can't like encore it. So early plays that have hand encore, like the Shizu from Slime, or like the Union from Konosuba. There's a decent amount of them actually, but by sending them to stock, they can't like save themselves because they don't go to the waiting room. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, just an early play killer. It is yellow. So that's why I needed to play a little bit extra yellow, because I was pretty low on yellow. If I was playing like all 4 of these, and only like 1 Asuna, that's like not very much yellow. I would have to like level my backups and stuff. It just didn't work. Also, I'm super greedy because this is like basically a 4-color deck. It's heavily on 3. It's like evenly 3 colors, but I am playing like a blue level 3, so I'm technically 4 colors. Then we're playing the Leafa backup, 2/5 for 1 stock to protect like early plays and stuff. You can reveal the top card of your deck if it's a character added to your hand, and then discard a card. So you can try to help yourself cancel a little bit by taking out some damage from the top of your deck. Yeah, I don't like this card that much, but it has its uses. Yeah, there's not much to say about that card. Next up, we have this. This is really good. This is an early play killer backup. Pay 2 stock, discard a card, and then bottom deck their early play. So it's 3 total stock and a discard, but it bottom decks. It doesn't send to waiting room, so that's like pretty important. So a really good early play killer. A little bit heavy on the cost, but when you need it, you really need it. And then lastly, for our level 2 is this event, Opposition by the Shield. Level 2, 3 stock. Choose a character in battle. That character gets the following ability until end of turn. Continuous. This cannot deal damage to a player. So basically anti-damage. Late game, we don't really have a finisher, so this lets us like live. We try to win over the course of like 2 turns usually, because we do a lot of healing and just kind of poking. And this just allows us to like live another turn. Also, any like kind of like on reverse burns this protects you against. It doesn't protect against like on attack burns, because they get their effect before you can even like use the backup or the counterpart of this. So that can't protect yourself completely against those, but it's all good. Pretty good card. We can't like get it off much. Like the Leafa can look at top 3 and try to grab it, and it's pretty much like it. Otherwise, like we just kind of have it. If we draw it like at level like mid to late level 1, we're probably going to keep it for the rest of the game. But any like earlier than that, we probably just ditch it and like clock it just to grab more like playable cards. All right, on to level 3s. It's very sporadic here, but I started with like the 2 ofs and then all the 1 ofs. So we got this Silica, level 3, 2 stock. If you have 2 or more like other characters, it gets 1500, and your opponent can't use backup. So that's pretty cool. So your opponent can't use like events or any kind of like, they can't like protect against this. So it just kind of runs over whatever. And then on play, you can heal. So basically it's an 11k healer that they can't really protect themselves against. So it's just kind of there. It's one of the better healers in the deck, I'd say. But it doesn't like, it's not a finisher or anything. But it kind of fits into our overall plan of just like healing, winning board, and then trying to make the game last a little bit longer. Next up, we got this early play Lisbeth. Early play, if you have 2 or less climaxes, it gets 500 power for each other character. So if you have a full field, it's an 11k healer, not bad. And then it heals to stock. So you on play, discard a card, heal from clock to stock. So this allows you, if you have 5 stock, to play this and 2 other 3s in the same turn and end at 0, and then you triple attack, and then you have 3 for this. So You're usually using your stock as like early game pluses, mid game pluses, to try it and keep your hand up essentially. But yeah, another one of my like favorite cards in the deck. Next up, we got two of this like Lisbeth, Link Strike Lisbeth. Cost level 3, cost 2. On play, you can salvage a character from your waiting room, which is really good. And then on attack, discard 2 cards and burn 1. So this is kind of our finisher. Kind of pokes for 1. You can discard climaxes right before you refresh. You can discard dead level 0s. You can discard level 3s you don't have stock for. But it also salvages, so that's really important. So like you can play this. So say you have like 5 stock, you play this, go down to 3, salvage this, play this, go back up to 2 stock, and then play something else. So it's very toolboxy, and it's very important for our finishing turns. Next on to the one-ofs, we got this Asana. It's a 2k assist in front, and then on play, you can search your deck for a character. So similar to this, we have a way to search for more characters, and then in memory kicks. So whichever character is in front of this, if it gets reversed, you can put it in your opponent's memory. Yeah, okay, so the assist is all of your avatar net in front of this get 2,000 power, and then if they get their opponents gets reversed, you may put that into memory. So it's all part of the same effect. Okay. Then yeah, on play from hand, search deck for avatar net, put in your hand. And then the other effect you don't play because we don't have the other climax in here. So it's just searches and a memory kicks and a send assist. So it allows us to get over things. So like 11 plus 2 is 13. That's pretty big. Climax is 14. So yeah, pretty high numbers on some of these. This is the Musashi Asana. So 10k, 2 stock, level 3. During your turn, it gets 500 power for each other character, avatar net. So it's 12k, so that's pretty big. And then when your opponent cancels, you can mill the top card of your deck and it burns for X, which is the level plus 1. So if you mill a 0 or a climax, you burn 1. If you mill level 1, you burn 2, 2, 3, and 3, 4, so and so on. We have a lot of 3s and 2s, so you have a decent chance of like hitting a good one if you're behind. So it basically forces another like lethal cancel if you use it at the right time. Next up, we got this Overcoming Fear Asana, 10,000 power. On play, you heal, and then on attack, discard 2 cards. If you have the Mother's Rosario, so there's a yellow version, but we're playing the green for the Yuki, but this combos with the same card, the green or yellow one, so it works with this. So it's kind of our level 3 climax combo that we only have 1. But yeah, on attack, discard 2 cards. You mill 11 cards from your deck, and then you deal X damage to your opponent, and it gets 3,000 power, and X is the number of soul trigger icons revealed. So if you keep track of your deck, you'll know how many little triggers are left in there. And then it gets power, so it's 10, 13, 14 on attack. So it gets pretty big. But yeah, I think most of the time you use this if you're like out of climaxes to just mill through your deck so you can refresh and maybe like live another turn. But going for like the kill is super like inconsistent because there's like no way to really know how many you're gonna mill. We don't have a ton of them. It's like 10 or it's 12, 13, 14, 15. So again, it's around kind of just under a third, 27, 28% ish. So you might hit like, if you're milling 11, you'll hit probably 2 or 3 depending on where your cards are. So that's not bad, I guess. Just I don't usually use it for that though. Usually I just use it to recompress and try to live another turn. Because usually I'm doing this like the same turn with Yuki. So I use this to mill 11 cards from the deck, refresh. Then now I'm at 3-1 usually. And then you attack with the Yugi and you thin your deck of 2 more cards. So you're compressed and then even more compressed. Of course, one of the climaxes is out, but you should have cards like elsewhere. So I don't know. It's there. It's not like I don't love this card. Next up, we got this Yuna. 9/5, 2 stock level 3. Early play, 2 or less climaxes in waiting room, gets -1 level. On play, you can heal, and then on attack, you choose one of your characters and it gets +X power, which X is 500 multiplied by the number of other avatar or net characters you have. So basically, it's on attack, it gives something else 2,000 power for the most part. Early play healer. So it's not like the best early play healer, like that would be Elizabeth, but it's an early play healer that can help your other characters get over stuff. Lastly, well, not second to last, we have this Lifa. She's a clock kick, so on reverse, you may discard 2 characters from your hand and put the opponent's character into their clock. So that's a way to get guaranteed damage, along with like if your opponent refreshes, that's another guaranteed damage, plus with the pings. There's a lot of like instances we can do small amounts of damage, and we have like cancel burn. So like if you play like this Asuna, this Lifa, and this like Elizabeth, you're doing like 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. It's like one of the better like plays you can have. A lot of cards to discard, but if you're going to try to kill them, then you're going to try to do that. It gets 500 power for each other character, so it's an 11K. 11K. And then on place from hand, look at top X cards from your deck and choose up to 1, and X is number of characters you have. Okay, so it's a top X checker. I thought it was top 3. I'm getting it confused with something else. But yeah, top X checker, so we can look at top 5. Helps you dig for the money counter anti-damage thing event. Yeah. And then last card, we got Full of Vigor Yui. This is the only blue, like, costing card. This you won't play, you just use the backup and you don't need to have the blue requirement. But the only way to play this is if I have a Kirito somewhere in the level or clock. On play gets X power, 500 for each other character you have, so it's on play 11 usually if you play last. You can also discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do, put all your opponent's stock into their waiting room and take the top card of their deck equal to the number of stock they just lost, and then put that in their stock. So it's a stock swap, essentially. Stock bomb, whatever they... I don't think stock bomb's the correct term. I think it's stock swap. But yeah, so if they're really compressed and they have a lot of stock, I have this just in case. It's not like you don't need this, but I like having it just in case. And then during your opponent's turn, when you take damage, you can look at the top card of your deck and put it, like leave it there or put it in your waiting room. So if you can like win lane with this and like heal down, it's very hard for your opponent to kill you through this, because like if you eat 3, then you look at top and you can try to make it so you cancel. Really good against like single points of damage or like low points of damage, because then you get to keep doing it. But yeah, that's it for level 3s. Then I guess the last card I never talked about was this door trigger. It's just when you trigger it, you salvage a character. We're playing this, no combo, just a blank, empty door. All of our climaxes plus. But yeah, this, you don't want to draw this, because you'll just ditch it to something, I guess. You ditch it to drop searchers a lot, and you ditch it to like, if you like attack with like if you attack with something, trigger this, you get a card back. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just there to plus, gets those cards back, but you don't really want to draw it. There's not really. You can discard it to UVs too.